To sit and give God glory. To bask in the goodness that is our God. You guys, we take this for granted. This is huge. We are so blessed. God's Spirit is here tonight. I want to introduce to you my friend Josiah. Josiah has been a part of the young adults community for about a year now. Is that in around there?
Yeah,
yes?
About a year.
Cool. All right. So this is Josiah. You probably recognize him by this point, and he's got such an awesome story about how good God is. So Josiah, I guess we'll start right off the bat. So you were born on March 13th, and from what I understand, right away there are complications. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so when I was 3 days old, I started having really severe seizures that lasted for like 45 minutes, and the doctors found out that it was because my pancreas was overproducing insulin. And so what the pancreas does is it helps break down proteins, carbs, and fats. It also produces insulin and produces digestive enzymes.
So your pancreas is overproducing insulin. So what did the doctors do?
The doctors got rid of 97% of my pancreas.
So surgery, just took it out.
Yeah. And they thought that would get rid of the problem, but it didn't really help at all.
Okay, so you've now got 3% of your pancreas left, and the problem is still there. What's going on?
Well, the doctors go to my parents at this point and they say, we can do a second surgery and get rid of the 3% that remains because it's still overproducing insulin. And the doctors go to my parents and say, we can do this. And my mom gets a feeling that she says, no, we'll just pray for the remaining, like my parents and people that were supporting them. We'll pray for what remained.
So the doctor, you've got 3% of your pancreas left. Doctor wants to take it out. And your mom says, no, I got a feeling that God is telling me to do something different. Is that correct?
Yeah.
So around the clock, people are praying for Josiah. Around the world, people are praying for Josiah. And what happens?
Some years later, I went in for a CT scan, and it was found that 40% of my pancreas had regrown with normal cells back to 40%. And so that is a creative miracle in itself, because the pancreas is not an organ that can regrow at any point.
So in this experience, just seeing God's miraculous hand at work, doing something that was medically and physically impossible, something that would have created a lifetime of issues had your pancreas removed. What has this taught you about the nature of God, the character of God, and how He views you?
Well, He created me this way for a reason, and the purpose that He gave me is to give Him the glory through my circumstances. Yeah. And so it really goes to prove, like, for me, that God can do the impossible, and that everybody has a purpose. And even if you don't know what it is, make it your life's goal to find out.
Yeah. I like the way Josiah put it. He said, my purpose is to give God glory through my circumstance. Yeah. Joe is here because his circumstance is one where God has been given glory. I think that's something that's so applicable to each one of us here, regardless of our circumstance. Our purpose is to give God glory through our circumstances. And I think this is an awesome example of how God is glorified just by testimony. The whole point of tonight is just to share testimony of how God has changed the lives of people, how God has glorified Himself through these miraculous things, like we heard from John, like we heard from Josiah. So Josiah, tell me, is there a verse that God has allowed you to hold on to in regards to all this?
Yeah. my Oma died a few years ago, but when we were packing up her stuff, we found one of her Bibles, and James 1:17 was underlined, and it had my name by it, which is just, I'm not sure what the entire verse is, but it's like, for every good and perfect gift comes from above, coming down from the Father of heavenly lights, who does not change like shifting shadows. And so, like, way back when my mom felt that she needed to pray, God made a promise and he followed through with it. So he's just like the verse says, he's not shifting shadow.
And Josiah, just because God is so written over Josiah's testimony that he's kind of made it available to people if they want to get some more information. So what is that?
Yeah, I've actually got a slide if you put it up.
Great. So tell us about it.
So a few months ago, I woke up one morning and literally felt like I should write my testimony. And I told my parents, and they were just like, yeah, go for it. And so my mom actually kept journals, and so I had that for reference. And I got some pictures and referred to those and wrote a little memoir. That's
cool. So you can find that, I think, for free on the internet. I can't see the slide. That's great. And we're going to have Josiah and everyone else who's come and shared up here afterwards, so you can talk if you want to get some more information and just talk to them. So Josiah, can I pray for you?
Yeah.
Cool. God, I thank you that the gospel is written all over Josiah's testimony. God, I thank you that you make yourself glorious in the lives of each and every individual here. God, I thank you that each and every individual here has a testimony of God's goodness, has a testimony of God saving them from death. God, I pray that you would continue to bless Josiah, God, as he shares his testimony of your goodness with people. God, I pray that people here would know that you love them, that you pursue them, and you have a purpose for them. God, and they would not leave here before getting down on their knees and saying, God, I want to meet with you. God, I want to hear from you. God, I want to know you. Jesus is alive, and Jesus does miracles, and that's what this whole season is about. God, I thank you for the faithfulness of Josiah. God, I thank you for the faithfulness of the people here who are dedicated to sharing your good news to the ends of the earth. God, I pray your name would be glorified tonight. In Jesus' name.